but I am 10 times more effective when I'm in the office. I'm wearing my dress pants. I'm wearing my collared shirt. Well, today I got a sweater. It's a little cold, but
it's awkward. He's not very productive today.
It was a hangout day. But no, I really do think that is a key aspect to like where my successes come from, because even when I'm in here and even on days where I'm not even transacting and I'm just calling and nothing's happening for me, I'm being surrounded by people and conversations, again, communicating with other agents that maybe are finding success. And I'm piggybacking on what they're doing in order to help generate more business for me.
Welcome to the Whissel Way Podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Cody Stamm. He was awarded the Rising Star Award at our 2022 holiday party. This is awarded to someone that really kind of rose above the ranks and really kind of had an outstanding year, really when we're looking at his first full year at the business. Cody did 15 deals his first year in the business here in San Diego, and he made over $200,000 in GCI. Again, first year in the business. I don't know how many people quit their job bartending and then make $200K at their first full year at their job, but Cody did, and he's going to talk us through it, how we did it. I am Bryan Koci. I'm Director of Marketing here at Whissel Realty Group. And like I said, I'm joined by Cody Stamm. Say hi, Cody.
Hey, what's up? Cody Stamm, San Diego State University. Yeah, man. I'm San Diego native. Been out here for my whole life and super excited. Joined the Whissel team not too long ago. Yeah, man, I'm super excited to be on this podcast. I did this once before when I was Kyle's assistant. So to be invited back is super special. I'm excited to share.
Well, thank you for kicking ass. You come up periodically in our leadership conversations, and it's always good. I don't think I've told you this or I've shared this with you enough, but often I have heard the phrase, we just want more people like Cody. And I don't think I've shared that with you. I don't know if you're a words of affirmation guy. I am. So if you're not, I don't care. Sorry. No. So Cody is going to dial down kind of what he did for his first full year to get $200K in GCI. In probably one of the most difficult real estate markets we've seen in nearly a decade, if not more. Kyle always talks about he came into the market in 2008, a very difficult time. Right. I see you come in as well, and you're like, I'm ready to go. And then this year was weird. So we're going to talk about that and kind of talk about what your plans are for the next year and how you're going to, what you're going to do for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you are watching or if you are listening to this show, I would love it if you would write a review, share this with a friend, comment, like, all that stuff. It's valuable to us. Just like when you create content, you want people to engage with you. We would love for you to engage with us. We'll respond back. We'll have a conversation. We're real people with real feelings, so please don't be mean. You can go to thewhisselway.com, learn more about our podcast, our YouTube channel, our email newsletter. We do a lot to really dive into the real estate community to give as much value as we can as possible. We have a course called the Media Mayor Mastermind, which we dive into our step-by-step process that brought Kyle from unknown to Santee to being recognized or nominated for Person of the Year in the city, bringing the team to #1 in San Diego. How he did that, what he did step-by-step, all that information's on there, as well as ask a question. You ask a question that's a valid question we think we can either provide value to, ask it on there, and we'll answer it on this podcast. I think I got everything dialed in.
I think so. That was incredible, Bryan. I've
Thank
never
you.
seen it live like that. That was good.
I've never done it that well before. Each time after this, I go, that was good. Yeah. Kyle usually does it. He's a machine at it. I'm really happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, man. Me too. So,
Cody, first full year in the business. Let's give some context because I don't want to be misleading. How long? So that's 2022. How long were you an active acting real estate agent in 2021?
2021, I was active as in no longer doing anything really admin side of the Whissel Realty Group. I'd say about October 1st. That's when I generally really started transacting and honestly not coming in for a paycheck from day to day. I was working solely commission. So yeah, that's when I'd like to say that's when things really kicked off.
Good, because I didn't want to be like, this is your first full year, but you worked 11 months. That's not fair.
No.
And so obviously I know this, you know this, Tom. We know this, we've been here. But people watching this may not know this. You worked side by side with Kyle for 2 years?
Yeah, just about 2 years.
And you were kind of an anomaly. We've tried to have this position before and always struggled. Kyle said, I want someone that can be there for me to do the day in, day out tasks. Sometimes, and I think you can you can agree to this. Sometimes it was some bitch work.
Yeah.
But I also want someone that can sit by me, listen to the calls, see how I interact with deals, and take that knowledge and go into the real estate business with a skill set rather than going fresh.
Totally.
So talk to me a little bit about that experience and what it was like. Let's talk about, because we talked a little bit before this started. You said you recommend if someone wants to come into real estate, kind of cut their teeth on having a mentor. Talk about your mindset on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anybody that is aspiring to enter real estate, whether it be investing, which was why I joined real estate. Like I didn't even know I was going to become an agent. I just knew that I needed to get next to somebody that was doing this and knew way more than I knew about real estate. And again, that can translate into real estate investing, or if you want to be just a realtor or you want to work admin side of things, maybe you're kick ass at being a TC and you love forms and you love helping people and you realize like that's a strength of yours. I think honestly, anybody, if you have the ability to financially support yourself or get in a position where like maybe it's minimum wage, which is what I did. I went from making in a bar position probably close to like 60 grand a year. I was happy. I was fine. I mean, I was 20 something years old and like that was good money for me. And I found this position, and although it was a pay cut, I understood that it was almost a paid apprenticeship that 100%. I literally like is hands down what I attribute to any of my success today is the sole fact that I was running around doing, like you said, some bitch work, but I was also in rooms with people that I would have never, ever been in the rooms with. I won't even name drop because it doesn't even matter to me like who they are. It could be the lowest guy that's got hundreds of properties that nobody knows about to top producers to top coaches across the nation. Yeah. That just was what catapulted a lot of things for me. And I think the experiences I had there were invaluable and is what what's driven me to where I'm at today. Yeah.
And I think you probably found it on a Indeed ad or something like that.
It was Google. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I was just cruising Google.
Yep. But I think Kyle is an anomaly in a lot of ways. He can see things that he needs that other people may need that they don't see it yet. So if you're looking to do what Cody did, you say, hey, look, and when you started, you didn't have your license, but throughout the process, you got your license. So you were able to work while getting your license, while getting hands-on experience. So search Google, search Indeed, search those places. But if you're not finding anything, Google top real estate agent in city.
Yeah.
And start cold calling them.
Or hey, walk in. You know how I found this was I found it on Google. I applied. Next thing I did is I walked to the North Park office and I showed face on a Tuesday meeting. I had no idea what a Tuesday meeting even was. I walked in.
Was it accidentally on Tuesday?
Yeah, it was totally an accident. I just walked in and I found Shasta and I was like, hey, like I want to work in real estate. I found this job ad. I submitted my application. I'm here.
I'm here for my interview. No one offered me one, but
nobody asked. But for real, like that was something that changed the game, and that's how I've gone about every one of my jobs I've ever gotten. And I think that just kind of is a mentality you have to have if this is something that you really want to pursue. This isn't something that you get a license and then you just, I'm going to be a real estate agent now. Like, no, like you need to pursue a lot of different avenues of this to explore what it is you're even going to do in real estate. Because I feel like a lot of people find out like, shoot, I'm not even a great agent. Like maybe this isn't right for me, but they walked in, they got a license, they paid all this money, and then they kind of found it the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. So I took that approach, I think, to kind of shortcut that line of like, look, maybe I like admin more, but I found out quickly salesman was kind of my thing. Yeah. And it's working well for you. So you went from working a bartending job, making about $60K a year, not bad money. Especially when you're 20, let's go. Then saying, hey, you know what? My next job is going to be minimum wage. That's a great idea. Yeah. I'm going to do that for 2 years. And you were very upfront, which I really appreciate, of saying, look, I don't want to do this forever. And that's what Kyle was looking for. Give me a commitment. And you and I talked about this a lot of like, hey, I committed to 2 years. I'm going to do my 2 years. Yeah. That sounds like a prison sentence, but you follow through what you said, and then came into real estate full-time October 2021. This year, like I said, made over 200 grand. So, I mean, you could have not worked for 2 years and you still this year would have made more than working your bartending job.
So not a bad gig.
No.
I want to give some things that you did this year. I don't know what they are. I want you to give some tactical advice, because we know there's no easy button. You don't just show up. People I want some tactical advice of what you did to make $200K in GCI. And then I want to know what your goals are. What are you going to do more of, do less of, do differently in 2023 to see how you're going to grow it.
Gotcha. Well, then, I mean, I can kind of go on, and I'd hate to ramble. So what I'll try to do
I'll
is...
tell you to shut up.
Yeah, cool.
That's enough. All right, thank you.
Brian, you wouldn't do that. No, what I'll try to do then is I'll narrow down to 3 things. Of course, there's always more, but I think 3 is easy to digest for you and the viewers and kind of make it easy. One of my main things I honestly attribute to just on it being in this position where I've transacted once almost every month now, an hour, working up a little bit more than that. But that truly is just being open and communicating constantly. And whether that be, a lot of people confuse that with making cold calls. Like, I suck at cold calling, but you know what I'm great at though, is literally going to a coffee shop or being face to face with a lot of different people. And that's not just in like random conversations, but that's having genuine conversations with family members and friends. There's a good portion of my deals this year that came from just my sphere and just literally putting myself out there and not being afraid to be that guy that, because I don't know everything about real estate yet. I'm not going to act like I do, but what I do have is a genuine compassion for people and just communicating and understand like, hey, like, where is it you want to be? What do you want to do? And having that ability to do that has been, I think I found that with all of my years experience in the restaurants, just having that genuine conversational skills. But again, continuing to like communicate with people in a way that like, hey, like real estate isn't always just business and numbers and deals and transactions. Like there's a lot of people, like a lot of different moving parts behind it that are emotional and acting as somebody who's
selling a home to live in most times. Yeah. It's pretty emotional. It's where you're raising your family or where your family fell apart or whatever there's a lot of emotions. So yeah, it's not, totally. You're not selling sheet metal. Yeah. Like there's emotion.
Yeah. And there's people
the sheet metal guys are going to hit me up. Like, I cry every time I sell sheet metal. Sorry.
Fun fact, I actually worked in a steel yard for a summer and that's when I found out I'm never going to work construction again. Yeah. Sorry, Dad.
So constant communication, specifically with your sphere, staying in touch with people, letting them know you're an agent, but obviously not being shitty about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what your other 2 things are, and so I might jump ahead, but one of the things I think you and I have communicated a lot on and collaborated a lot on is how we can communicate where you're at in your journey through media, through videos, through photos, without saying, because I remember, I think the first media day, you're like, I don't know a lot about this or this. I can't talk about it. The first time, I don't think I never heard of it before earlier this year, but a 2-1 buy down. I can't speak about that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let's talk about what you do know. And we talked about your journey. We talked about your friends. Like, we can talk about that. And we were able to find a way to communicate online through media where you're at in your journey without saying, I know everything, but also without saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like both
are a tricky game to play. Yeah. For sure. It's difficult.
And that way we can hit them on social while you're communicating with them on through the CRM and then having meetings with them, whether or not you may be getting lunch with someone and it's not like, hey, can I get lunch so I can talk about your buying or selling needs? But it's let's strengthen our relationship, right?
Totally.
Cool.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah. So, so number one, again, just being a strong communicator and honestly having that ability to take the business side of real estate out of it, I think has been one of my driving factors of just acquiring people and literally working with people hands-on and gaining their trust, because it's most important when you're new. It's all about, can this person trust you and are you going to do what's best for them? And I feel like I've been able to accomplish that. I'd say number 2.
Wait, before we go to number 2, one more thing.
All right.
About communicating. You kind of talked about it as bringing people into your sphere, but another thing I know that you're good at is communicating throughout the process. Yeah. And I think people get stuck on that. People get confused or worried about it. That, I want to talk to the seller because it didn't sell yet. Communicating throughout the process and letting them know you can trust you because you're constantly communicating. I just wanted to add to that because I think it fits in that bucket, but I love that too.
Totally.
All right, now number 2.
Yeah, number 2, I think this is They're not really in any chronological order how I put these, but I think
they're chronological. It's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but I think realistically, like, I'm sorry, order of importance, I guess is what I should have said. But I think legitimately just showing up. I think so many agents in this industry, they just don't show up. We have these beautiful offices, and there's people even on this team where I'm like, who are you? What are we doing? Like, you work here? And I find that to be just mind-boggling, because guess what? When I'm at home and I'm just chilling and trying, like, don't get me wrong, I can get work done at home, but I am 10 times more effective when I'm in the office. I'm wearing my dress pants. I'm wearing my collared shirt. Well, today I got a sweater. It's a little cold, but
awkward. He's not very productive today.
It's a hangout day. But no, I really do think that is a key aspect to like where my successes come from, because even when I'm in here, and even on days where I'm not even transacting and I'm just calling and nothing's happening for me, I'm being surrounded by people and conversations, again, communicating with other agents that maybe are finding success, and I'm piggybacking on what they're doing in order to help generate more business for me.
I love that. I think a lot of people, and I think you came into it with eyes wide open, but I think a lot of people want to get into real estate and they go, oh, I get to set my own hours, which is true, but you don't. Yeah. But usually it's, oh, I get to work 3 hours a day. I get to go to the beach. I get to show pretty houses, right? And if you're listening to this and you've been in the business for more than 6 months, you know that's not the case. Yeah. You do set your own hours. You just decide which 14-hour shift you're working right. or 16-hour shift you're working that day.
Totally.
You get to choose if it, but showing up and doing the work, people, I hear all the time, oh, I want to be my own boss. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, because like, oh, the bosses I've had sucked. I'm like, maybe because you suck as an employee. Yeah. No. And so when you're your own boss, you're also your own employee, and that can be difficult. And so I think some people come in here with a little bit rose-colored glasses, thinking, oh, it's gonna be easy. I gotta do whatever I want.
Right.
But from experience, from seeing, you got to show up and do the work.
Absolutely.
And grind away, and sometimes it's not going to be as fun.
Right.
But if you want that lifestyle that you want, and if you want the success that you've had, Cody, I love you. Don't take this offensively. You're not the smartest person I've ever met in my life.
What the?
You're not the
Thomas.
You're not the most handsome person I've ever met in my life. You're not the most charming person in the world. Would you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
I mean,
but you're crushing it. And all that to say is, you don't have to be the best at something to do work and to do great work. And I think you do great work, and you do that by showing up and doing the work, despite being ugly as hell. That one you should take offensively.
Right.
But I feel like Cody's like, I don't care about number 3 anymore.
Yeah, you know what?
He's gonna walk out. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Totally. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. I mean,
Cody's going to beat me up.
Yeah.
All right. So show up, do the work, get shit done. And also what I heard you say is be in an environment where people are working. And so maybe that doesn't need to be an office. Where with EXP, we actually have offices, but a lot of people don't have offices. But get together with a couple people that are actually doing focused work time. And it doesn't matter if they're making phone calls for videography, someone's doing books for Pilates, you're writing offers, that the collective of focused work time is what's important.
Totally. Yeah, cool. No, I definitely agree with all that. And just to reiterate the fact of like showing up, like there's days where I've shown up and I don't get a whole lot done. It's not always about that. It's really about creating that habit of like, I show up. And once I get here, it's almost hard not to do things. It's like getting yourself to the gym. Like if you've gotten yourself all the way there and decide not to work out, that's kind of on you. But I mean, you made it. Maybe you just walk on the treadmill. Like right. Once you get moving, you kind of get all those things. Like they start kind of going in your favor. So I kind of use that same logic here. Was like once I show up, it's like even if I didn't want to, guess what? I'm opening my laptop and I'm at least getting something done. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Eventually it starts to roll. So
yeah, and I mean, making 1 phone call versus 0 phone calls, that's exactly. A big difference.
Exactly.
Making 2 phone calls versus 1 phone call, that's 100% increase. That's a big difference.
Totally.
So love that. Love it. Is number 3, press the easy button and watch the commissions roll in?
Yeah, exactly. It's to put the sign in the yard, get on your knees and pray.
All right. So communication constantly with your sphere, with your clients, making sure they can trust you through their process. Number 2, showing up, doing the work, building those strong habits around people that are also like-minded doing the work. I kind of added that part, but I think you said that as well. Number 3, what do we got?
I think this one, I'm tossing and turning here, but I want to just call it time management. And I think, I mean, you'll hear every agent talk about it over and over and over again. And one of the best things about being young in this industry, and I'm not married, I don't have kids, I don't have a whole lot of responsibilities that some of the more experienced agents have. So I have more time, which you'll ask any agent out there, what's their most valuable asset? Time. Yeah. So when I'm managing my time in this, in this point in my life and my career, my time is a lot of time. Like a lot of the times it's centered around my clients where like maybe I am taking phone calls at 7:00 because I don't have, like for you, like you've got 2 kids at home. Like if somebody calls you at 7:00 and it's from the office, one, you're not an agent, but let's roll with it. Like you're not answering. You are literally going to say,
I mean, well, 7:00 I probably will, but between like 7:45 to 8:30, that's bed. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't be like, go to sleep, baby. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, what's up? I got you.
Totally, totally,
100%.
And honestly, and one of the main things that I learned this year, because and with this being said, is I wasn't great at time management. That was honestly one of my weaknesses where I wanted to go, like I had that mentality, being like, oh, I'm my own boss. I learned pretty quick what it's like not having a boss on your back to tell you, hey, why aren't you here at 8 a.m.? Like I learned that in the first 2 months.
You're like, I need to get fired.
Right? No, and it does feel like that. And like in part of that, like time management, and one of the things I was toying with or wanted to use is just grit, because at the end of it, like I would start to feel this time, like, what am I doing? Why? Like I've been either at the office all day or I didn't go in because I was messing around doing laundry, like doing stuff that is meant for the weekends or meant for your time off. The time management thing is like really getting to know yourself and creating that schedule that works for you. And what I found most valuable is because I was basing mine off Kyle Whissels. Like we've all seen his calendar. I'm sure he's been on this podcast plenty of times. Like, oh, look at this. He's going to show you. Yeah, he's going to show you. He's going to show you the color code and how everything looks. But like my calendar doesn't look like that. It doesn't mean mine's wrong. It doesn't mean mine's not successful. Like I will say, like it's proven to be. Like I've proven to like find a system that is actually starting to work for me. So I think realistically, for anybody that is starting out, determining like what does that time breakdown work for you. And what are you willing to sacrifice on the things that like you think, oh, like now I'm my own boss. I can go golf every single day. I would love to golf every day, but guess what? I don't. I golf once a week on Fridays because that's what the time my boss, me, tells me I can go and get off, I think that's something that has truly been very beneficial in kind of keeping myself in line and keeping on track to do, 1+ deal a month.
So I'm going to give you a second so you can think about this. I want to ask you about what your calendar looks like. Okay. But one of the things that I heard you say is, or where I thought you were going and you didn't quite get there, how I heard it, but putting things in your calendar to make sure you're doing things and not just doing laundry. Kyle, one of the things he talks about is we're not here to fill an 8-hour day.
Right.
We don't get an award for, yep, you worked 8 hours. Good job. No, it's not about how much we worked. It's the results we get. And so the goal of the 8-hour day is not to complete an 8-hour day. It's to accomplish your goals within those 8 hours.
Right.
And so, yeah, you could say, well, I was busy all day. I did laundry. I had to pick up, food, groceries. I called the client. I was busy all day, but you didn't do anything.
Right.
Like, what are you doing to grow your business? So that being said, give me just an overview. I don't know if you want to go, I don't want to go every hour of every day of every week, but like, what do your days look like? I know you're on the team and I know we have a lot of stuff going on. Give me just a typical day.
Yeah. A quick synopsis then of the day is, what I like to do is I'm not the 5 a.m. club. I know that's what a lot of people say, like to be successful. Like, don't be wrong, I want to get there. But for me in my life right now, I'm typically up by 6:30. I've got our morning calls right at 8:15.
Our huddles.
Our huddles. And then I have role play right after that till 9. And typically in between those times, I'm commuting to work, get to work. And that's when it's really time for what I have highlighted in blue, which is all my office work stuff. So I'm answering emails. I'm kind of getting ready for the day, game planning a little bit as to what's going to be done. Next is power hour. I do a full hour of just prospecting, following up with, anybody in my database, just really kind of creating that's just that one, like pretty much that gap of 10 to 11. And typically, as you know, we have a lot of stuff scheduled at 11 o'clock. So that could be a Tuesday meeting or an in-person role play. Just depends depends on the day, but that's typically right there. I do a brief lunch. I try not to go anywhere. I try to bring something with me that way I can kind of work at the same time or
You're
watch.
a better human than me.
Yeah.
I need a mental, physical break.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I do too, but at this point I'm far past that. And then the rest of the day is truly committed to really finding that next set of business. So there's a lot of just prospecting, follow up, and just education on real estate in general. Because if I do find myself like, dude, I can't make another phone call. I don't want to send another text. If I have to listen to this person call me one more time, I'm going to freak out. So then I can just dedicate it to some time of like reading, whether it's on interest rates or what's going on in the local market, just kind of just keep educating and using that time wisely. Because again, I'm new to this. I'm a year in. Like, I don't know everything. So, you know, what's really beneficial is reading articles on stuff that like I've never even heard of before, right?
Or listening to the Whissel Way Podcast. That's a pretty cool thing. Maybe you should find that.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. I love that. I love it, dude.
Yeah. And then the end of the day is workouts. Usually if I'm trying to do something, like that's going to be the end of the day beneficial for me. And I think that's something that I learned early this year, and like, you know, throughout the whole year. I do get lazy and I stop going, and I always see a direct reflection in my business when I stop focusing on my health and like doing anything that's, you know, going to be good for me, whether it's just going on a walk where I live in Crown Point or just playing soccer on Thursday nights at the sportsplex. Like, those are things I really like to do. And I started to neglect them. And then I wouldn't have a deal for a month. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? What happened? I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm not doing anything for me. I'm
look at that.
I'm in a brain fog, right?
To correlate.
Exactly.
And then I heard you say Thursday nights sportsplex.
Yeah.
I heard Friday golfing. Do you take any days off?
You know, we had Adrian talk about this just the other day in our meeting, where I do, but it's not always traditional. Like, a lot of my times where my days off, they are starting with morning showings, and then I go get some lunch, and it's typically by 2:00, then I'm done. Unless I'm writing offers, right? Like, it's always situational.
Yeah.
But what I've found to be more beneficial for me is, rather than try to plan days off and, you know, completely disconnect, is just really taking the time where it's like, hey, look, like, I am golfing this time. Like, my phone is staying in the bag and I'm not touching it, right? Like, I can commit to that. I can commit to like 2.5, 4 hours of golf, and I can commit to like an hour of complete gym time where like I am off. Like, I am not thinking about anybody else but me, and taking that time. And of course, like on the weekends, like, you know, at night, like I'll go out or do anything like that. Like, I do live in Pacific Beach, so I do like to go eat, go have drinks, go do stuff like that. So I'm definitely taking time off, but it's not like I need days off, because typically when I'm taking days and days off, I'm only thinking about work and I'm getting more stressed out. And that vacation is now not a vacation.
Yeah, that's
anymore.
anxiety.
Right.
I feel you.
Exactly.
Before we get into our Whissel widget of the week, do you have anything else any other single piece of advice for an agent coming in? Maybe it's their first year, maybe it's their second year. They didn't do as well as they should have. You obviously gave communications, showing up, time management, and the grit. Is there any other thing that you can say, this is what you need to do to have the success like I had?
Yeah, it's a hard one.
You're like, I already gave you 3. What the hell?
No, like, I realistically, like, as we kind of started this podcast, we were talking about what I did before I was an agent. Like, I think if you're in your first year of real estate, latch on to whoever is that top dog in your group, on your team. If there's somebody around you that, like, you know that they're kicking ass, like, go link up with them and offer to do whatever it is that you can do for them. Because chances are, if you're running around putting out open house signs for somebody like Mike Proctor, he doesn't want an assistant, but he needs one. So if you were to offer your time, which again, you've got more than anybody else in this industry, offer your time, like, hey man, I'm going to work this open house for you. I'll go put out all your signs for you. You want me to go ahead and write you up this offer? Like, what can I do to make your life a little bit easier? I'm working my business. Sure. Like, I'm not trying to take anything. I just want to help you because you're so knowledgeable. You learn, like, I can learn so much from you, and I want to make sure that I'm not leeching off of you. I want to be an added bonus to you. So that's going to be my last and final one, is like, truly find that person that you connect with and you can really provide value with.
I was going to say, I've got 2 caveats, and I'm curious on your thought, but you already covered one. One, make sure you connect with them on a personal level.
Oh, totally.
Make sure your personality profiles match. Make sure if they're a super high D in the disc profile and you can't handle that, I struggle with IDs.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't work with Mike super tight on stuff like that.
Totally.
Number 2 is maybe they're not the top dog currently. maybe they're number 3 or number 4. Maybe they've
True.
done more in the past, whatever the situation is, but it doesn't have to be number 1.
Right.
If this is your first year in business, if this is your first month in business, literally everyone has more experience than you.
True.
So I wouldn't recommend finding someone with 6 months experience, but if they've got a couple years under their belt, they're doing well. And like, they don't have to be the number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
They could be number 7 doing, I don't know what number you ended
30
up at.
years or
but
whatever.
like,
yeah.
someone can definitely connect with you, Cody. You know what you're doing. Again, you don't know everything, but I always talk to agents and I say, do you know how to explain a contract? Do you know what conventional? They're like, yeah. Then you're an expert. You're an expert compared to someone that's not.
Totally.
Right. So, great. Well, let's jump into our Whissel widget of the week. This is something that we use. Oh, wait, before we do that, I'm supposed to do my spiel at the end. Like, comment, share. If you know someone that's new in the business and you say, hey, this is something that I think you can learn from, or you want to use Cody as a rabbit and say, I want you to chase this person. I want you to make more than 200K. This is how he did it. Do that and do better. Send this video to them. Send this podcast to them. Tell them you're thinking about them. Tell them, but really help. Hopefully this encourages and motivates. And maybe they didn't have a great first year. Maybe they didn't have a great second year. This is what's possible with these kind of 3 bullet points broken down. So share it with someone. If you can, leave us a review. I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult for your clients to leave you reviews. Give them grace with that as we give you grace with our reviews. So please, we would love reviews. And also go to thewhisselway.com for all your real estate needs. Was that cheesy enough?
That was good.
All right.
We needed like a little like graphic. Like, bing.
Tom's got that
Tom,
now.
get on it.
All right. So Whissel widget of the week. This is something that we use in our business, saves us time, makes us money, makes us have more fun. I'm adding one, makes us look cooler.
Okay.
Have you been prepped for this?
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Go first.
Yeah, I don't mind. I honestly think my favorite tool, which I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, brown nose anything, but we've got a lot of cool tech here. And I think that's something that's like another piece that honestly contributed to where I've come or where I've gotten to today. Our CRM, like I'm not paid by Follow Up Boss. This is not a plug for them, but like legitimately, like I find myself my stepdad runs an intervention company, and my father, my biological father, he runs a roofing company. And I find them both struggling so much communicating with clients and setting up appointments and doing all the things that I'm literally like right here. I was like, guys, look, this is like so easy. This is so automated. This is like, you don't have to remember that. You don't have to tell Siri, hey Siri, remind me to make this. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, Follow Up Us has literally got so many things. And the ways that it makes me look cool are like always to my clients when I'm sending them all these updates, or I have a template where I say, hey, look, I'm going to introduce you to my like 4 best lenders. And I just go boop, boop, bing, done. Like literally, like I'm done. I'm a couple clicks.
Yeah, you did them a huge solid, and it took you no time.
It took me no time at all. And again, like you can literally, like I can nerd out and go sit there and like that's not even my forte. Like I honestly, I've never been the one to like research or play on the computers, but I know right now when I've taken 30 minutes to build just one thing, it saves me so much time later on. And to be honest, like I haven't worked with many CRMs, but I don't see any reason to really switch from this one. It'd be a hard sell to get me to leave Follow Up Boss.
Tom, let's send this clip and the one with Dan about Follow Up Boss. Yeah. Because Dan also did a Follow Up Boss.
Oh, no way. Dang.
Which I'm not mad at all. We can put Follow Up Boss right here. We can be sponsored by you.
Well, didn't they get us this thing over here?
That was Client Giant.
Client Giant. Which is also cool. Client Giant's legit as well.
I love them too.
Yeah.
Cool. Great widget.
Thanks.
I 100% agree. Again, not sponsored by, but I would love to stop saying that. I would love to start saying sponsored by. What up, Fub?
Yeah.
My widget is, like I said, I added one, make us look cool. This background here, we got these cool panels from, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. If you're listening on the podcast, you can't, but let me try and explain. We have some metal panels with some cool geometric designs in them, which is cool and all, but what really sets this off is these background lights. And so these are the Pavo tubes. They're the version 1. We have 4 of them, and together as the 4-pack, it was about $1,000.
Oh.
The version 2, which you can control directly from your phone, the 4-pack is $2,000.
Jesus.
But what's really cool about these is we have them in our Whissel colors. We have the orange and green, but you can change the colors. And when we rent this studio out, we're going to be able to change the colors. You can do some really cool. And look at that, it's doing it. You can change the colors. You can change, as you can see if you're watching on the podcast, the designs and all sorts of stuff. Really cool, really able to grow. And I don't know, they're just really cool.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and we finally found, by we, I mean Chad. Chad buys more gear than I do. So Chad found me something cool. He found me these. And so the Pavo tube, these are the version 1s. We got a 4-pack for $1,000 from, I think we bought it from B&H.
Cool.
That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
Wait. Before you leave, I want to share some more tips and tricks that we're using in our business to take it to that next level. Just click right here. And don't forget to subscribe. Click right here.